My name is Daniel Carter, and I am 32 years old. For years, I believed I had everything I needed. I had my work, my home, my wife Emma, and my best friend Ryan. I thought loyalty was the strongest thing in my life. Daniel, you are smiling again, Emma said one morning. I looked up from my coffee. Why wouldn't I smile? I have you sitting here with me. She forced a small smile. You always know what to say. I laughed softly, because I mean it. Back then, I did not notice how different her voice sounded. I did not notice the distance between us. I only saw the woman I loved. Are you coming home early tonight? I asked. Emma looked at her phone quickly. Maybe. I have things to finish. Things or work. She looked at me. Why are you asking like that? I felt surprised. I was just asking. She sighed. Sorry. I'm tired. That was the first moment I felt something strange. A few days later, Ryan came over. Brother, you have to try this new restaurant with me, Ryan said. I smiled. You and your food recommendations. Last time you almost destroyed my stomach. Ryan laughed. You survived. Emma smiled at him. It was a simple smile, but something inside me noticed it. Ryan, you're here a lot lately, I joked. He looked at me. Am I not allowed to visit my best friend? Of course you are. Good. Because you know I would never leave you. Those words stayed in my mind. I trusted him. I trusted both of them. But little things started adding up. Emma started hiding her phone. Ryan started knowing things I never told him. One night, I walked into the room and Emma quickly turned off her screen. Who was that? I asked. No one. No one. Daniel, why are you questioning me? I'm not questioning you. I'm curious. She looked away. You have changed. I felt hurt. Me? Yes. You feel distant. I almost laughed because I felt the opposite. I felt like she was the one leaving. I've been trying to get closer to you, I said. Maybe you don't understand what I need. That sentence stayed with me. I started watching instead of asking. I noticed patterns. Emma smiled at messages she never showed me. Ryan suddenly had excuses to visit when I was away. My heart wanted to believe they were innocent. My mind started fearing the truth. One evening, I forgot my laptop at home. I returned earlier than expected. The house was quiet. I heard Emma's phone vibrating. I did not want to look. I told myself I respected her privacy. Then another message appeared. Ryan. My hand became cold. The message said, I missed last night. I wish I could stay longer. I stared at the screen. My breathing changed. I felt like the room became smaller. Another message appeared. Emma replied, Daniel is becoming suspicious. We need to be careful. I froze. For a moment, I could not understand what I was reading. My wife, my best friend, the two people I trusted most. I picked up the phone with shaking hands. More messages appeared. Ryan said, don't worry. He will never know. I closed my eyes. 1,000 memories hit me. The nights I defended Ryan. The times I told Emma how lucky I was. The moments I believed my life was safe. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break everything. But I stayed silent. I placed the phone back exactly where it was. When Emma came home, she smiled. Daniel, you're home early. I looked at her. Yeah, I finished early. Everything okay? I nodded. Everything is perfect. She smiled. I hated myself for saying that. That night, I stayed awake. My mind kept asking one question. How long had this been happening? I wanted answers, but I knew anger would destroy me. I needed control. The next morning, Emma kissed my cheek. Have a good day. I looked at her. You too. She walked away. I whispered to myself. You have no idea what you just started. I did not confront her. I did not call Ryan. I did not give them the satisfaction of seeing me broken. Instead, I started collecting the truth. Every message, every lie, every mistake. I would find everything, because they thought I was a man who would fall apart. They were wrong. I was hurt. I was angry, but I was still standing. And soon, they would understand that betraying me was the biggest mistake they ever made. For the next few days, I acted normal. Emma believed everything was fine. Ryan believed I was still the same trusting friend. That was their first mistake. Daniel, you seem happier, Emma said one night. I looked at her and smiled. Maybe I finally learned something. What do you mean? I mean, people change. Her eyes moved away. She felt something. Good. I wanted her to feel the same uncertainty I felt. I began saving every piece of evidence. I wrote down dates, conversations, and moments that did not make sense. I was not doing it because I wanted to hurt her. I was doing it because I needed the truth. One afternoon, Ryan called me. Brother, you free tonight? No. What? Just wanted to hang out. I almost laughed. You never asked this many times. What are you saying? Nothing, Ryan. There was silence. Then he said, You know I care about you, right? I looked at the phone. Those words sounded different now. I know, I replied. After the call ended, I sat alone. I remembered the old Ryan, the man who helped me during my hardest days, the man who stood beside me when I built my company. That memory hurt the most, because betrayal from an enemy is easy. Betrayal from family destroys something deeper. Later that night, Emma entered the room. Daniel, yeah, are you happy with me? The question surprised me. I looked at her carefully. Why are you asking? I just feel like something is wrong. My heart wanted to ask her why. My heart wanted her to confess. Instead, I said, maybe we both need to think about things. She became quiet. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. I did not enjoy it. I only understood that the truth was finally getting closer. I made a promise to myself. I would not become someone cruel because they hurt me. I would become someone stronger. And when the moment came, I would let the truth speak for itself. They had already planned my downfall. Now I would plan my comeback. I knew the hardest part was still coming. The day I finally faced them. The day I stopped pretending. Until then, I carried my pain quietly. Every morning, I woke up beside Emma and remembered what she had done. Every day, I shook Ryan's hand and remembered his lies. But I stayed calm, because my anger was no longer controlling me. I was controlling it. The man they thought they broke was preparing to rise again without fear. I woke up the next morning and saw Emma sleeping beside me. For a few seconds, I forgot everything. Then the truth came back. The woman beside me was the same person who had betrayed me. I quietly got out of bed. Daniel? Emma's voice came from behind me. I stopped. Yeah. Where are you going so early? Work. You usually stay a little longer. I looked at her. I have a busy day. She studied my face. Are you upset with me? The question almost made me laugh. I wanted to ask her if she knew what she had done. Instead, I said, why would I be? She looked away. I don't know. You just feel different. I walked toward the door. Maybe people change. Her expression became uncomfortable. What does that mean? It means nothing, Emma. I left before she could ask more. The hardest part was acting normal. Every conversation felt fake. Every smile felt like a lie. I spent years trying to make Emma happy. I remembered all the small things I did for her. The vacations I planned. The nights I stayed awake when she was sick. The times I put her dreams before mine. And now I wondered if any of it mattered. At work, I sat in my office staring at documents without reading them. My assistant knocked. Daniel? I looked up. Yes. Michael Reed is here. He said he wants to see you. I nodded. Send him in. A few seconds later, Michael walked inside. He was someone I had known for years. We worked together before, and he always had a way of seeing things clearly. Daniel, you look terrible. I forced a smile. Nice to see you too, Michael. He sat down. I'm serious. Something is wrong. I'm fine. He raised an eyebrow. You know, I hate that answer. I looked away. What do you want me to say? The truth. I stayed quiet. Michael leaned forward. You're not the same person I knew. I took a deep breath. People change. He looked at me carefully. That sounds like something someone says when they are hurt. I felt my hands tighten. For some reason, hearing that from him almost broke my control. Emma cheated on me. The words finally left my mouth. Michael became silent. What? I found messages. Are you sure? I nodded. And Ryan was involved. Michael looked shocked. Ryan? I laughed bitterly. That was my reaction too. Daniel, I'm sorry. I looked down. I don't know what hurts more. What? That she did it? Or that I trusted him? Michael stayed quiet. Then he said, What are you going to do? I looked at him. I don't know. Are you going to confront them? My mind immediately imagined Emma crying and Ryan making excuses. I wanted to expose everything. I wanted to destroy them. But something stopped me. I don't think so. Michael looked surprised. Why? Because I don't want anger making my choices. He nodded slowly. Good. Yes. Because revenge from anger usually destroys the person holding it. I looked at him. What would you do? Michael leaned back. I will protect myself first. Protect myself? Your money, your work, your future, everything they cannot take. His words stayed in my mind. I realized something. I had been thinking about what they did to me. I had forgotten to think about what I could save. That night, I went home. Emma was sitting on the couch. You're late. I had work. She smiled. Ryan came by today. My heart became heavy. Oh, yeah, he just wanted to talk. I looked at her. About what? Nothing important. I nodded. She watched me. You're not jealous? I almost smiled. No. Why not? I looked away. Because I trust you. The words felt painful. She believed them. That hurt even more. Later, while Emma slept, I started making changes. I moved my private accounts. I protected my business information. I saved every message, every conversation, every piece of proof. I was not preparing an attack. I was preparing shield. The next day, Michael called me. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Really? No. He laughed softly. At least you're honest. I smiled for the first time in days. Michael, yes. Do you think people can regret what they do? He paused. Everyone regrets something eventually. And what if it's too late? Sometimes that is the punishment. I looked out the window. Maybe he was right. Over the next few weeks, Emma became more distant. She started spending more time away. She thought I didn't notice. One evening, she came home late. Where were you? She looked surprised. You're asking? Yes. With friends. I nodded. Okay. She frowned. That's it. What do you want me to say? I don't know. I looked at her. For a moment, I saw the woman I married. The woman I loved. I almost forgot the pain. Then I remembered the messages, the lies, the betrayal, and I knew I cannot go back. A few days later, Ryan called. Brother, we need to talk. I answered calmly. About what? You? Me? Yeah. You've been acting strange. I smiled. Maybe I'm just tired. You know you can tell me anything. I looked at the phone. That sentence almost made me angry. I know, Ryan. Good. Because I'm always here for you. I ended the call. Then I sat quietly. The old me would have believed him. The old me would have trusted him. But that man was gone. I was still hurt. I was still broken in some ways. But I was learning something. Being broken did not mean being defeated. I started rebuilding myself quietly. My company became stronger. My plans became clearer. And while Emma and Ryan believed they were building a future together, I was building a future without them. A future where I no longer begged for loyalty. A future where I control my own life. They thought I was the man they destroyed. They did not know I was becoming the man they should fear. I stopped asking myself why Emma betrayed me. That question was destroying me. Every night, I sat alone, thinking about the same memories. The first time I met her, our first apartment, the promises we made. But memories could not change reality. Emma chose someone else. Ryan betrayed me, and I had to accept it. I was no longer thinking like a broken husband. I was thinking like a survivor. The next morning, I called Michael. Are you free today? I asked. Daniel, you never call this early unless something serious happened. It did. What happened? I found something about Ryan. There was silence. What kind of something? I think he was trying to take more than my wife. Michael's voice became serious. Meet me. I arrived at his office and placed the documents on his desk. Michael looked through them. Where did you get these? I checked Ryan's old business emails. Daniel, are you sure this is real? I nodded. Look at the company names. Michael stared at the papers. This is a transfer plan. Exactly. He looked at me. Ryan wasn't only having an affair with Emma. I swallowed. No. He was trying to control your company. The words hurt more than I expected. I knew about the betrayal. But this was different. This was not about love anymore. This was about everything I built. My years. My sacrifices. My future. Michael looked at me carefully. What are you going to do? I leaned back. I need help. He nodded. That is the first smart thing you said. I almost smiled. What do you mean? I mean you usually try to carry everything alone. He was right. I always believed protecting people meant handling my pain silently. But this time I needed a different approach. I need someone who understands a legal side, I said. Michael picked up his phone. I know someone. An hour later, I met Sophia Bennett. She walked into the room with a folder in her hand. Daniel Carter? Yes. I'm Sophia. She sat across from me. Michael explained the situation. I nodded. I need to protect myself. Sophia opened her folder. First, tell me everything. I hesitated. Everything? Yes. No emotions. Just facts. That was harder than I expected. I told her about the messages, the affair, the hidden business plan, the lies. When I finished, she closed her folder. You have proof. Yes. Good. I looked at her. That's all. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Maybe tell me how terrible they are. Sophia shook her head. That will not help you. I frowned. They destroyed my life. I understand. Do you? She looked directly at me. I understand that you are hurt. But if you let anger control you, you will make mistakes. Michael said the same thing. I hated hearing it, because I knew it was true. Sophia continued. Your goal should not be revenge. Then what? Protection, control, freedom. I stayed quiet. Those words felt different. Freedom. I had been so focused on what Emma took from me that I forgot I could still choose my future. What should I do? I asked. Separate your personal and business accounts. Already started. She looked surprised. Good. I knew something was wrong before I came here. Then you're thinking clearly. I nodded. I need everything protected before they realize. Sophia wrote some notes. Do not confront them yet. Why? Because people make mistakes when they think they are safe. I looked at her. You think they will expose themselves? I know they will. For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than pain. I felt calm. When I returned home, Emma was sitting at the table. You're late, she said. Work. She looked at me. You always say work now. I placed my keys down. Is that a problem? She sighed. I just feel like you were somewhere else. I almost answered honestly. I almost said, because you left me before you physically left. But I stopped. Maybe we both feel distant. Her eyes changed. Do you think our marriage is failing? I looked at her. The old me would have immediately tried to fix everything. The old me would have begged. But I was different now. I think things have changed. She became quiet. That night, I noticed guilt in her eyes. For a moment, I wondered if she regretted everything. Then my phone showed another saved message from Ryan, and the doubt disappeared. A few days passed. I kept working. I protected my company. I organized every piece of evidence. Sophia helped me prepare everything. You are doing well, she said during our meeting. I don't feel like I am. That's because you're still grieving. I looked down. I loved her. I know, and part of me still does. Sophia nodded. That is normal. I hate that. You should not. I looked at her. Why? Because it proves you were honest. Their choices do not erase your ability to love. Her words stayed with me. Meanwhile, Emma became closer to Ryan. I saw the signs. Long calls. Late nights. Excuses. But I stopped reacting. Every lie they told became another piece of evidence. One evening, Emma asked me to sit down. My heart already knew. Daniel, we need to talk. I sat across from her. Okay. She took a deep breath. I had been thinking for a long time. I waited. I think we should separate. The room felt quiet. I looked at her. You want a divorce? Her eyes filled with emotion. Yes. I studied her face. She expected anger, pain, a reaction, but I only nodded. Are you sure? She looked confused. Yes. Why? She looked away. I'm not happy anymore. I almost smiled sadly. Not happy. That was the reason. After everything. You found someone else? Her face changed. What? Emma, answer me. She became nervous. I don't know what you mean. I watched her carefully. The old Daniel would have broken down. This Daniel understood. You already decided. She whispered yes. I stood up. Okay. She looked shocked. Okay. I nodded. I won't stop you. Her eyes searched mine. You're not angry? I looked at her. I am. She waited. But I'm tired of fighting for someone who already left. Emma looked hurt. Maybe she expected me to beg. Maybe she expected the broken man she created. But that man was gone. She believed she had one. She did not know I had already started rebuilding everything. She did not know every move she made was leading her closer to the truth. And soon, she would understand one thing. I was never powerless. I was only waiting. I sat across from Emma after she asked for a divorce. For weeks, I had imagined this moment. I imagined myself shouting. I imagined showing her every message and watching her face collapse. But when the moment arrived, I felt something different. I felt tired. Emma, I said quietly. She looked at me. What? How long were you planning this? Her face changed. What do you mean? I leaned forward. I mean leaving me, being with Ryan, destroying everything we built. Her eyes widened. Daniel, what are you talking about? I watched her carefully. For the first time, I saw real fear. Not guilt. Fear. You thought I knew nothing. She stayed silent. I continued. You thought I was just waiting at home, believing every lie you told me. Daniel, no. Let me finish. She looked down. I found the messages. Her breathing changed. What messages? I smiled sadly. You already know. A long silence filled the room. Then she whispered, how long? I looked at her. How long have I known? She nodded. Yes. Long enough. Her eyes became wet. You knew. Yes. And you said nothing? I wanted the truth. What truth? I stood up and walked to the table. The truth about whether you would stop. She looked confused. What? Team. I watched. I waited. I wanted to know if this was a mistake or a choice. Emma covered her face. Daniel, No. My voice was calm. Don't apologize yet. She looked at me. Why? Because I need to know if you're sorry because you hurt me or because you got caught. That question broke something in her expression. I never wanted to hurt you. I looked at her. But you did. She started crying. I was confused. I laughed softly. Confused people do not hide messages. Confused people do not make plans behind someone's back. She had no answer. I opened my folder and placed papers on the table. Her eyes moved toward them. What is that? Everything. She froze. What do you mean? Every message, every conversation, every meeting. You recorded everything? I collected everything. She stared at me. I don't recognize you anymore. I looked away. Maybe because you never expected me to stop being the man who forgave everything. She wiped her tears. I thought you loved me. I did. The words hurt me. I loved you more than I loved myself. Then why are you doing this? I looked at her. Because loving someone does not mean allowing them to destroy me. She stayed quiet. The next morning, I met Michael. He entered my office and immediately noticed my expression. It happened. I nodded. She asked for the divorce. Michael sat down. And you? I accepted. He looked surprised. Just like that. No. I looked at the window. It was the hardest thing I ever did. Michael understood. What about Ryan? I placed another file on his desk. His business deal failed. Michael opened it. Already? Yes. How? He made mistakes. I looked at him. I just stopped protecting him from the consequences. Michael nodded. That is different. I know. You could destroy him completely. I looked at the file. For a moment, I wanted to. I imagined exposing everything. I imagined Ryan losing everything. But then I remembered who I used to be. A person who helped others. A person who believed people could change. Daniel. I looked at Michael. What? You're thinking about letting him go. I sighed. I don't know. You have every reason to hate him. I do. Then why hesitate? Because hate was not the person I wanted to become. That was the truth. I don't want my pain to decide who I am. Michael smiled slightly. That's the strongest thing you've said. Meanwhile, Ryan started calling me. I ignored him several times. Finally, I answered. Daniel, we need to talk. His voice sounded nervous. About what? You know, I stayed quiet. I don't understand what is happening. Really? Yes. I almost laughed. You always like pretending you knew everything. There was silence. What are you saying? I'm saying your plans are failing. His breathing changed. What plans? The ones where you thought you could take my company. He became silent. Then he said, You're making a mistake. No, Ryan. I looked at the papers in front of me. You already made yours. You don't know what you're doing. I smiled. For the first time in years, I do. He became angry. You think you're better than me? No. I answered honestly. I just stopped being blind. After the call ended, I sat there. Part of me felt satisfied. Another part felt empty. Because this was not the ending I imagined. I wanted justice. But I also wanted the people I loved to never betray me. That version of my life was gone. A few days later, Emma came to see me. She looked different. Not because of her appearance. Because she looked broken. Daniel. I looked up. Emma. She sat down. I talked to Ryan. I waited. He was angry. Of course. She looked at me. He blamed me. That surprised me. What did he say? He said everything happened because I wanted more. I stayed silent. Emma looked down. I realized something. What? I was never the person he chose. I did not answer. She continued. I was just part of his plan. Those words were painful, because I knew she finally understood. He never loved me, she whispered. I looked at her. And you finally see it. She nodded. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I wanted to comfort her. The old Daniel would have. But I could not forget. I'm sorry, Emma. She looked up. Sorry. I'm sorry you had to learn this way. Her eyes filled again. But I cannot go back. She nodded slowly. I know. I felt sadness. Not anger. Not revenge. Just sadness. The woman I loved was sitting in front of me, but the marriage we had was already gone. I had a choice. I could destroy her. I could make her suffer. Or I could let life teach her. I chose the second, because winning did not mean becoming like the people who hurt me. I walked away knowing one thing. I had lost my marriage. I had lost my best friend. But I had finally found myself. And that was something they could never take away. I sat in my office looking at the city outside my window. A few months ago, I thought my biggest fear was losing Emma. Now I understood something. My biggest fear was losing myself. The door opened, and Michael walked in. You look calmer, he said. I turned around. I am. That surprises me. Why? Because Ryan lost everything yesterday. I looked at him. What happened? Michael placed his phone on my desk. His investors left. The business deal collapsed completely. I read the messages on the screen. People who once trusted Ryan were now cutting ties with him. I felt something strange. I expected happiness. I expected satisfaction. But I only felt tired. Daniel? I looked up. Yes. You won. I shook my head. No. Michael frowned. No. I survived. He smiled slightly. That's a better answer. I leaned back. Do you know what's strange? What? I spent so much time thinking about revenge. And now I realize I never wanted him destroyed. Michael stayed quiet. I wanted him to understand what he did. He nodded. That's the difference. A few weeks before everything collapsed, I had already started preparing. Ryan thought he was smarter than me. He thought I never noticed the changes. But I did. The way he asked about my company. The way he wanted access to private information. The way his questions were never about friendship anymore. They were about control. I remembered the first time I suspected him. Daniel, you should let me handle more of the business, Ryan had said. I looked at him. Why? He laughed. Because we are brothers. I smiled. We are friends, Ryan. His expression changed for a second. What's the difference? At work, trust needs limits. He looked offended. You don't trust me? I answered carefully. I trust you as a friend. That was the moment I knew something was wrong. He wanted more. Much more. So I created a backup plan. I moved important accounts. I protected company information. I separated everything Ryan could use against me. I did not tell anyone, not even Emma, because I needed to know the truth. And now I did. The next day, I received a call. Daniel. I knew the voice. Emma. Yes. Can we meet? I looked at the time. What? Please. Her voice sounded different. Not confident. Not angry. Broken. Okay. We met at a quiet cafe. Emma looked at me for a long time. You seem different. I'm different. She lowered her eyes. I know. The silence between us felt heavy. Finally, she spoke. I lost everything. I stayed quiet. I lost you. I looked away. Emma. She started crying. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I did not answer. But I need to say this. I nodded. Go ahead. She took a deep breath. I confused excitement with love. Her words hurt. Not because they surprised me. Because they confirmed what I already knew. I thought Ryan understood me, she continued. And did he? She shook her head. No. I looked at her. He only wanted what you had. She covered her face. I know that now. I stayed silent. I destroyed the person who actually cared about me. I looked down at my hands. For a moment, I remembered old Emma. The woman who laughed with me. The woman who promised forever. Part of me still missed her. That was the hardest truth. I was not angry because I hated her. I was angry because I loved someone who no longer existed. Emma. She looked up. I'm sorry. Her eyes filled with hope. Does that mean? I stopped her. I forgive you. She froze. You do? Yes. A tear fell down her face. But forgiveness does not mean we go back. Her expression changed. I know I hurt you. Yes. And you can never trust me again. I looked at her. Trust takes years to build. She nodded slowly. I understand. I hope you find peace. She looked at me sadly. And you? I thought about that. I'm trying. She smiled weakly. That sounds like you. I almost smiled. What do you mean? You always cared about moving forward. I looked away. I used to. The conversation ended quietly. When I returned home, I found my sister Lisa waiting for me. She stood up immediately. Daniel. I smiled. Lisa. She walked toward me. I heard what happened. I sighed. Everyone knows. She hugged me. You don't have to pretend with me. That almost broke me. Because with everyone else, I was strong. With Lisa, I could admit the truth. I'm tired. She nodded. I know. I thought winning would feel better. She looked at me. You think this is winning? I don't know. Lisa sat down. Daniel, you saved yourself. I looked at her. I lost my marriage. Yes. I lost my best friend. Yes. Then how did I win? She answered quietly. Because you did not become them. Her words stayed with me. Later that evening, I heard about Ryan again. He tried contacting old friends. Nobody answered. He tried fixing his reputation. Nobody believed him. The people who trusted him finally saw what I saw. But I did not celebrate. I just moved on. A few days later, I received one final message from Ryan. Daniel, you ruined my life. I stared at the screen. Then I replied, No, Ryan, your choices did. I waited. Another message came. You planned this from the beginning. I looked at the question. Then I answered. I planned to protect myself. That was the truth. I never planned revenge. I planned survival. Ryan wanted my company. He wanted my life. He wanted to take everything. But he forgot one thing. I knew myself. And once I stopped chasing people who hurt me, I became stronger. The pain was still there. The memories were still there. But they no longer controlled me. I walked away from the past. Not because I forgot. Because I finally understood. The greatest victory was not watching them fall. The greatest victory was standing again after they tried to break me. Months had passed since the day my entire world collapsed. But when I looked in the mirror now, I barely recognized the man staring back at me. Not because I looked different, because I felt different. I was no longer the man who begged someone to stay. I was no longer the man who ignored his own pain just to protect someone else's happiness. I had rebuilt my life. My company was stronger. My mind was calmer. My heart was still healing. One morning, Lisa called me. Daniel, are you busy? I smiled. My sister asking if I'm busy? That sounds serious. She laughed. I just wanted to check on you. I'm okay. Really okay? I looked outside my office window. Yes. That's good to hear. I sat down. Lisa, do you know what I realized? What? I spent years thinking losing Emma meant losing everything. And now I know I was only losing something that was already gone. She stayed quiet. You sound different. I am. I'm proud of you. I smiled. Thank you. After we ended the call, I looked at the empty space where old memories used to hurt. The pain was still there, but it no longer controlled me. A few days later, I received a message. From Emma. My hand stopped for a moment. I stared at her name. For a long time, that name meant love. Then it meant pain. Now it was just a memory. The message said, Can we talk one last time? I thought about ignoring it, but something inside me told me to answer. Okay. We met in the same cafe where we had our final conversation. Emma looked nervous. Not like before. Not like someone hiding a secret. Like someone carrying regret. Daniel, she said. Emma. She looked at me. You seem happy. I am. She nodded. I wanted to see that. Why? She looked down. Because I needed to know if you were okay. I'm okay. She smiled sadly. I can see that. The silence between us was different now. Not painful. Just honest. Finally, she spoke. I didn't come here to ask you for forgiveness. I looked at her. Why not? Because I know some things cannot be fixed. I listened. I just wanted to tell you the truth. What truth? She took a deep breath. I lost someone rare. I stayed quiet. I had someone who loved me completely. Her eyes became wet, and I destroyed it because I thought something else would make me happier. I looked down. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I'm sorry, Emma. She looked surprised. You're sorry? Yes. Why? Because I'm sorry you had to become someone who hurt people to learn what mattered. She looked away. That sounds like you. What do you mean? You still care. I smiled slightly. I'm just not going back. She nodded. I know. I hope you find peace. She wiped her tears. I hope you do too. That was the last time I saw her. And strangely, I felt no anger. Only closure. Later that week, I heard about Ryan. His life had completely changed. The people who once followed him left. The opportunities disappeared. The respect he wanted was gone. But I did not feel happy about it. I just saw it as a lesson. Greed always takes more than it gives. Ryan wanted my life, my success, my future, but he lost his own chasing mine. Lisa visited me that weekend. She walked into my apartment and looked around. You finally changed this place. I laughed. Yeah, you used to keep everything the same. I know. She looked at me. Why? I thought about it. Because I was scared that changing anything meant accepting I lost something. And now I know some things need to end. She smiled. That's the Daniel I wanted to see. I sat down. Do you ever think about what happened? Of course. Does it hurt? She thought for a moment. Does your past hurt? Yes. But does it control you? I shook my head. No. Then you already won. I smiled. Lisa always knew what to say. That night, I opened an old photo album. I saw pictures of Emma and me. Happy moments. Real moments. For a second, I felt sadness. Because those moments were real. The love was real. The betrayal was real too. Both things could exist. I finally understood that moving on did not mean pretending nothing happened. It meant accepting what happened and choosing my future anyway. I had spent so long wondering why they betrayed me. Now I stopped asking. Some people lose good things because they do not understand their value. That was not my responsibility anymore. I rebuilt my career. I rebuilt my confidence. I rebuilt myself. The man who was broken by betrayal was gone. In his place was someone stronger. Someone who knew his worth. Someone who no longer needed revenge. Because the greatest revenge was never destroying the people who hurt me. It was becoming someone they could never reach again.